Hello, everyone. Back in 2017, I made some very bad decisions, and two of those decisions resulted in these. These are wrist braces, and the reason I have them is I put myself in a scenario where I gave myself carpal tunnel. Now, when I had carpal tunnel, I remember having to take a short break from knitting because my wrists were just hurting so bad it physically hurt to knit. So, in some astounding leap of logic, or illogic, if you would say, I decided to crochet instead during that time. And somehow that hurt less. But I also remember wearing the braces and attempting to knit. And I remember actually doing it, but I forget what it was like because I blocked out a large part of 2017 from my mind. But today we're going to find out. I'm going to put on the braces. We're going to remind myself what it was like to try to knit with these on. And I still have the use of all my fingers, but a lot of knitting has to do with the wrist movement too, and I'm wondering how much this is affecting the wrist movement. Now, even if I'm at a point where I only ever needed to wear one, I would always just insist on wearing both of them at the same time because I wanted symmetry that way. Alright, so they're on now. Kind of tight, but that's how they're supposed to be. So I got the yarn here. And we're going to cast on the 10 stitches like we always do. Oh. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I gotta take one out. There we go. Oh. Well, one, there's a hair there, which I know it's mine because it's blue. Okay, so we're going to just start with the knit stitch here. So far, it's been very tight. It's not so much that it's uncomfortable, it's just very there. The closest thing I can think of is when you put on a tampon incorrectly and you just feel it inside. That only makes sense to half the population, but yeah. So that's the first row. Now we're just going to do the second one here. I'm not sure I've ever washed these braces, actually. I think I was kind of always afraid to. I'm not sure how they would handle the washing machine. Forget about the dryer. I'm pretty sure there's a piece of metal in here, and you don't want to put metal in the dryer if you can help it. I mean, that's the second row right there. Let's do one more row. there we have it. So knitting with the wrist braces on didn't really affect my knitting so much. It was because it's still like the same stitches as they always are. But what it did affect was how much I noticed my wrist while knitting. Like, typically when I knit, I don't really notice the wrist. I mean, my hands are just tools. Like, I'm kind of working on noticing my body more in general because I spent so many years feeling like my consciousness only resided in my head and the rest of my body didn't really belong to me. It wasn't really a part of me. It was just there. But having the wrist braces here, like, really made the wrists a lot more noticeable. It's like you couldn't really not pay attention to them. You know, it's kind of like when you have an itch and the itch is just there, and it's like, even if you don't scratch it, it's just like there. Well, I'm amazed at my mastery at the human language at this point. Human language. English language. See? But I think you get the point I'm trying to make here. Anyway, I'm glad I do not need these anymore, at least not at this moment in time, and I will continue knitting without them. Have a good day.